And so, my friends and families, this Tuesday edition has some interesting articles, but I think I'll do that after. Right now, I have in hand the Monday edition and the Tuesday edition of the Kaieteur News. And interesting on the Monday edition of March 22nd, very interesting, is disrespect for Guyana's labor laws not cost. $100 to $46,000 fines for non-compliance. And it's basically the same thing, friends and families, that has to do with national insurance. The fines are so low, and the corruptibility of some officials of the NIS, and some people even brags about it. It's so widespread that some people don't even care what you can do. And a place particularly like the NIS, they don't listen to guidance. How many times I wrote them and told them they need to criminalize the NIS laws. People must be able to be sent to prison for stealing of workers, PAYE, by fraud. And for the time being, while legislation is being prepared, bring some private criminal charges against the biggest ones. For example, there are some companies don't own anything. One of them is a master in that. One security company changed its name and is controlling several regions in the west, west coast of Demerara and Essequibo and so forth, and in Berbice and Quarantine. One company actually went bankrupt through thievery, intentional bankrupt, to commit fraud. And what it did, it eventually, when it came to the point that they had to wind up, this company just changed its name, same uniform, same place, and started back. It's like a mockery of our system by smart elect people taking advantage of the country. And so we need to bring some private criminal charges for fraud, because fraud is what it is. They're collecting the money from the people for their benefit and also for the NIS, and affecting the entire national insurance and the people's ability to get their benefits and the viability of the national insurance. So we have to make some examples while the law is being created for imprisonment and jail to bring private criminal charges. Nobody's taking me serious. I don't even think the NIS is not taking me serious, because some of them have friends on the outside in the private sector and otherwise. The mayor, city council, I was made to understand, is another culprit. The police force, the Guyana Defense Force, and many corporations of the government involved. And when they put on the pressure, then they will go and pay for a person. This money is needed for the financial viability of the national insurance scheme. Now, a lot of rice millers have done that. We saw rice millers in the Essequibo who went bankrupt. One of them who was dishonest to use me, even to process their workers that are going to hire me with their workers. And when I finished processing them, they did what they had to do to take them on as their own workers and pull the strings in the police force and had them sworn in. And I lost, at that time, hundreds of thousands of dollars. A tremendous amount for me at that time. But eventually, the company went bankrupt too. That did that. And this is how life is. Now, NIS is a very serious affair. It has to do with people's benefit, sicknesses, pensions. And you people who don't like to pay NIS, remember, if you don't pay, you don't get the benefit. Now, another aspect of the newspaper that I am interested in here is disrespect for Guyana's labor laws not costly. $100 to $46,000 in fines, page 13. Let us find that. That is interesting. And we have my handsome brother and friend, Joseph Hamilton, in picture here. And you can see the caption, page 13 of the Kaieteur News of yesterday, Monday, March 22nd. Disrespect for Guyana labor laws not costly. In light of India's logging company, Vaitarna Private Holdings Incorporated, being flagged recently for blatant violations of Guyana's laws, it has come to the attention of Kaieteur News that the fines for such infringements are minuscule and do not serve to deter non-compliance. So even in the Ministry of Labor, and they can't seem to understand that these people can be charged and imprisoned. But if the fines and the penalties are so minuscule, it will be profitable to want to underpay and then lose their name. Now we're talking about a great country. You got to remember, India is a land historically of goodwill, peace, and so on. But they do have bad employers. They do have dishonest operatives. They do have their own mafia. The world has mafia. And some of them control industries and business, and they care little or nothing. And they don't understand. We have seen that some Chinese companies do that as well. We remember Bai Shanlin do the same bloody thing and then cause chaos and cause the Chinese government to be embarrassed, which is unfair for all the Chinese to be looked down upon by people in the country and around the world because of a company doing bad. China is very serious. They sentence you when they catch you for manufacturing inferior substances like milk powder, medicines, and so on, to death. Now, India is now being put in shame, I'm sad to say, because I'm a lover of India, as I am of China. But here is a company that is a total shame and disgrace. And when people do not comply with our labor laws, we must be able to take our contracts, seize their material, seize their equipment, and stop them from using our forestry, our lands that we have to benefit from. And if they're robbing and cheating the employees, imagine what they're doing to the government, the taxes. I see my hair is not looking that well, something not right, but this is in the raw, right, ladies and gentlemen? And I will continue here now on this. This was first highlighted by the Minister of Labour, Joseph Hamilton, as he spoke with the publication about VHI infractions last Friday. Following that, independent research conducted by Kaieteur News revealed that the fines for breaching Guyana's labour regulations do not surpass $46,875, with the lowest fines being a mere $100. Mr. President of Guyana, you have to seriously look at this. Because some people don't understand. The workers of any industry, particularly in the security industry where we have a lot of flagrant I-pass of workers by certain companies stealing NIS and abusing the labor laws. We saw one of them where a man surrendered who was a criminal, a drug dealer, partner with government of Guyana officials, previous government, established a security company, managed through trickery to get large contracts that were supposed to be mine, and stealing the workers' money, not paying their NIS and not paying the people even their bloody salary, and for months not paying their salary at a time. And this is how they are supposed to be blacklisted and wiped out. And the other one who declared bankruptcy, and the other who is stealing NIS, one of them was the former general manager of the NIS. What a shame and a disgrace, because NIS is something that I believe in. And I honor the NIS because it helps to make life simple and easy for people who get their benefits, pensions, sicknesses, whatever, whenever. Given that the value of these fines may be seen to companies as chump change, non-compliance across all sectors of Guyana labor force may be the result. So more and more people exist, many of them are doing it because it's chump change. Section 15(1) of the Labour Act outlines that labour officers have the power to enter the premises of any employer and demand their wages sheet or any record of wages or records of payments, and if these persons refuse to provide such, they are liable to a fine of $100. But another thing has to be done, And I'll write Honorable Minister, my brother and my friend, Joseph Hamilton, that heavy publicity against them, their photographs of where they work. In other words, they have to be named and shamed. So this should be name and shame employers who steal NIS and do not comply with labor laws. Adding to that, if the person knowingly makes or causes changes to be made to these records and proffers them to the labor officers, they are liable to a fine of $200 or imprisonment for 3 months, and nobody really gets jail. And the fine is what? $200, ladies and gentlemen. If they do a forgery to disenfranchise the employee from their benefits and to pull wool over the eyes of the labor officers, so to say. But they get 3 months jail. And that is where the power is. Employers may also be fined $100 for failing to display abstracts of Labor Act and regulations at the work site or failing to display them in the place where they are visible to employees. Furthermore, Section 2 of the Act outlines that every employee is mandated to keep a record of prescribed wages. The failure to do so may result in $50,625 fine, and for every day in which that default continues after the employer's conviction, a fine of $600 will be imposed. But no jail. For breaches such as failing to pay employees their wages in accordance with prescribed rates or agreed rates, employers could be made to pay a fine of $15,000. This is also outlined in Section 13(1) of the Labor Act, which states that where in any occupation rates or wages have been prescribed, an employer shall, in cases to which the prescribed rate is applicable, pay wages to the person employed at not less than such a rate, clear of all deductions, save as this act prescribed. And if he fails to do so, he shall be liable to summary conviction to a fine of $15,000 and $15,625, and a second conviction to a fine of $46,800. So the best thing is name and shame, ladies and gentlemen, and updating of these acts. The fine must be hundreds of thousands and even millions. Despite the law catering for both local and foreign companies, it must be noted that over the years, many foreign companies have displayed outright disrespect for Guyana's labor regulations, including stores in Regent Street and Rob Street. And ladies and gentlemen, you should know who we're talking about. VHI, the Indian company, for example, was flagged for not paying their workers overtime salaries and subjected them to poor living conditions and working environment. Further, the company could offer no defense for its infractions. Minister Hamilton also announced that the ministry is reviewing the laws to further safeguard the rights of workers in Guyana. And if the PPC government can do this, which is truly a workers and a poor people party, then who else will? While appearing on Kaieteur News' Wake Up Guyana show, he said, "We are reviewing the labor laws and regulations, seeking to strengthen them and amend what is outdated and to add new legislation to what we already have." So congratulations, and if nobody can do this, Minister Hamilton, you can. I'm behind you. I'm an employer, and I'm behind you, and I follow the law. And because in the security industry, people don't pay the NIS, they don't follow the law, they don't pay the annual leave, and in some cases pay below the prescribed rates, they can tender below cost. And they affect honorable people like us, and our workers lose the opportunity to work for us. Once the review of these laws and regulations are completed, the ministry will present a legislative agenda to the Attorney General's chamber to ensure full adherence. The minister has said that approximately 40 labor and occupational safety and health officers would be trained and placed in all of the subdivisions within the 10 administrative districts. That's because they don't have enough labor officers. My beloved, divine brothers and sisters, friends and family. So, please, Minister, our people's government, People's Progressive Party government elected by the the majority of the people of this country to govern us, please do the right thing for the Guyanese people and blacklist, and even I'm begging you to terminate the contracts and the licenses of people who are known to be stealing workers' emoluments and their benefits. Friends and family, look at this, share. This is an important topic. Workers' labor must be respected. Your friend, your brother, me, Hajji, Dr. Roshan Khan, in the raw, saying thank you for joining us and farewell, friends.